Alright, what's going on, guys? Lotus Foot is here. This is the second video of the day, surprisingly. Like I said, I'm only going to be doing one what if for the next, I don't know, month or so, cause, well, like I said, no access to all of my other pictures. Unless my dumbass decides, let's just download all those other pictures again, you won't be seeing those other pictures for a while. So yeah, this is going to be part 3 of what if Deku was, not was, had vibration manipulation. Alright, the first and second part, I rushed it. I'm not gonna lie, I rushed it. I really did. I rushed it through, like, if you heard it in my voice, I was rushing it, especially in part 1. So, let's take it slow in part 3. Let's get into it. So, last time where I left off, Izuku woke up Jiro as Jiro hugged him as, yeah, we cut to now, which is Midnight's class. Midnight's class. Now, take in mind, Izuku, he does not like Class 1A whatsoever. Like, if anyone tries to approach him, he has a chance of blowing off part of their body with the vibrations of their body and expanding it to a point where it explodes, or just incapacitating them with a high-pitched noise around their ear, or to be exact, around their head. So, yeah. So, we start off at Jiro hugging him as Jiro's crying, saying, "I'm sorry, I wasn't there to protect you," as Izuku hugs her back and says, "It's okay. I know it wasn't your fault. Now, what did I miss?" As Jiro tells him everything about they tried to do the USJ again, but they failed because, well, it was under construction at the moment. So then they said that we're gonna do it this year. I guess we're gonna be doing it like 2 weeks from now or 3, but we don't know for sure. As Izuku says, "Oh, okay." So now it's time for Midnight's class as Midnight walks in and sees Izuku and says, "Oh, you have a new student today? Mind introducing yourself?" Midoriya says, "If I introduce myself, I have a chance of possibly killing you and everybody in this class." As Midnight says, "Whoa, feisty there. It's not like you can do anything." As Izuku says, "I can rupture your eardrums without even trying. Test me, I dare you." As Midnight's like, "Okay, Mr. Big Shot." As all of a sudden, Midnight feels a very high pressure. As Izuku, he gets up as he walks to Midnight, and he whispers in her ear, "Like I said, I can rupture your eardrums without trying. Test me, and it will not end well for you. So I suggest you mind your business and watch what you say to me, or else your career as a hero will be over before you even know it." As Midnight, she's frightened, she's terrified, and so forth. So she says, "Oh, okay." As Izuku, he brings up all the happy aura and he says, "Alright then." As he goes to his class, as Midnight is terrified, like terrified, petrified, doesn't matter, any type of fight. So basically, like, apart from like terrified, petrified, horrified, and stuff like that, is there any other fight? No, I don't think so. Possibly. Doesn't matter. Alright, so, yeah. So, in actually comments, I think it was, I just checked the comment, one of my, favorite commenters said I should be a scientist. And I'm gonna say this now, buddy, that's my dream. And I already planned for that in the future. I already wanted to be a scientist. So yeah, let us continue with the what if. As Izuku, he goes back to his seat, to which Jiro gets up and sits back on his lap as she goes back to sleep. To which Izuku, he copies all the notes for her in class. Then it's Hasashi's class, and Hasashi says, "Who is this listener?" As Midoriya says, "Speak and you die." As he says, "Okay, damn." As Midoriya felt disrespected by this and did the same thing he did to Midnight to him. As, yeah, basically all the teachers are petrified. Now it's time for All Might's class, to which All Might runs through and says, "Ha ha ha, I'm running through the door like a normal person." To which all of a sudden, all, like I mean all of UA just feel massive pressure as Izuku, he yells out, "Oh my god, my notifications are on. Shut the frick up. Really, bro?" Alright, that's done. As all of a sudden they hear a voice, to which Izuku is in All Might and says, "All Might, where and how are you running like a normal person? Any type of run you do will not affect us in any way, shape, or form. Walk through the door." To which everybody feels a tremendous pressure just weighing down on them, except for Jiro, because, well, Jiro's in Midoriya's arm, and he can't, well, risk disturbing her in her sleep. Like, what? You fucking dead, bro? Like, pay attention? Like, alright. Like, pay attention to the storyline here. To which All Might, he says okay, as he steps back out and just walks in normally. As the class was like, what was that all about? As All Might says we'll be doing hero training and stuff like that. As he says, get on your suits, to which Izuku comes out wearing this. Alright, he comes out wearing this, the same clothes he came into UA wearing, which is this clothes on the screen. As All Might says, where is your uniform? Or your hero costume? As Midoriya says, this is my hero costume. Question it and you die. Don't question it, and you have a chance of getting severely wounded if you talk to me in any way, shape, or form. As All Might says, damn, okay. As Midoriya all of a sudden snaps, and all of a sudden All Might hears a loud screech in his ear and says, what was that for? As he does it again, as All Might, after the 10th time, gets it and shuts the hell up. Like, he does not speak. He gets, finally, that if he speaks to this man's Midoriya, his eardrums are gonna get ruptured. And he has a chance of having multiple rings in his ears due to the yelling noises in his brain. So yeah, he catches on, even though he's really slow to pick up on things. And you're probably wondering, how did All Might get back? UA sent a helicopter. So yeah, they sent a helicopter to get... So yeah, after he catches on, slow man, he says we'll be doing group training. As he picks out the things to which basically it says Uraraka and blank blank, which stands for Midoriya, since they don't know his name yet. Well, I think they know his name, but All Might doesn't, and the class are, well, scared to tell him. So yeah, and the fight, it goes south. Like, it goes differently. So Midoriya, Uraraka, Ida, and stuff like that go into it, as Uraraka stands next to Midoriya and says, so, Deku-kun, how are we going to... As Midoriya, he puts her hand in between them, snaps, and all of a sudden it sounds like a loud snap to her, to which she gets disintegrated. Like, disintegrated. Like, if you saw what Anos Voldigo did in Misfit of Demon Classroom on the first episode, yeah, he basically did that shit. Like, she's gone. To which he sends the vibrations of basically her body or her essence and her soul and stuff like that, and reformed her body the same way, but this time her quirk, it doesn't make her just nauseate, but it makes her weak. And yeah, he just forms her back into the observation room, and they're like, what? Weren't you just dead? As she says, I don't know what happened. To which Bakugou goes down there to attack Midoriya, to which Midoriya does the same shit, but this time he slaps the living crap out of Bakugou. Not only does Bakugou have the sensation of getting poop slapped out of him, he also gets the sensation of the sound of the clap going against his eardrum. And on top of that, explodes to death. What a wonderful sight it is, isn't it? Like, for real, for real. And he does the same thing with Bakugou that he did to Uraraka. To which he goes to Ida, and immediately, he's right in front of Ida, grabs Ida's head, slams him on the ground. And guess what? Ida, he explodes into blood. As Ida, before he could even react, just wondered what happened to him. Like, his soul is wondering what happened. To which the same thing that happened to Bakugou in Uraraka happens to him, to which Midoriya goes to the bomb and touches it. As All Might, he's shocked and petrified and says, Hero team, what wins? As they said, who is the MVP of this argument? As Midoriya says, Momo, if you dare speak, if you speak, if you say a word, if I hear a peep out of you, as a matter of fact, if I hear a sound come from you, your future will not be nice. Nor will your family's future, your business's future. I'm telling you this now. You will go from rich to poor real quick. Don't play with me. Like, Momo, she says, oh yeah, and how can you do that? As Midoriya, all of a sudden, Momo's dad, as Midoriya just snaps, and where Momo's dad is, the whole building and Momo's dad gets destroyed. To which Momo's mom calls Momo and tells her what happened. As Momo starts crying, as Midoriya says, "Oh, look at that! A word came out of you. As a matter of fact, a peep too." To which the same thing happens, and he destroyed both of them. Both Momo and the moms, and then he revives the both of them. As they still don't have their company back, and Midoriya doesn't plan to do that. Momo runs to UA and goes into class 1A and says, Midoriya, bring our company back. To which Midoriya says, hell no, that shit is disappeared. It's not coming back. Don't play with me. As Momo, she's on the ground crying, saying, I'm gonna be poor. As Uraraka taps her on the shoulder, says, it's alright, you'll get used to it. To which Momo slaps her and says, no, I won't. You were poor when you were born. As Midoriya, he just goes in front of her, slaps the fire out her face, bro. He slaps fire out her. Like, this man cocked his hand back so far. That shit looked like he was just standing right in front of Momo. It's like his body did a 360. And that shit just span and slapped the living crap out of Momo. Momo went flying into the wall, and then flying into outer space. That bitch was just being played ping pong out of. Niggas played ping pong out of her ass. Like, the planets, the stars, like, all of a sudden, just Momo being played ping pong out of. Like, damn. I was like, well, shit. And then Momo just explodes and gets reformed right in front of the class. As Midoriya says, you know what, fine. As he brings the company back, as Momo says thank you, and she never fucked with Midoriya ever again. Because Midoriya wasn't having it with her. So, Aizawa, he's petrified. All Might petrified. As Class 1A is petrified. As All Might, he snaps out of the petrification and trance and says, "All right, we'll be continuing." Well, to which all the matches go the same, except for Momo didn't say crap because Midoriya didn't allow her to, and stove. To which a week later, Aizawa says, "We'll be having the USJ again." As Midoriya says, what would happen if I skip time right here, right now? As he was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. So he waits a whole week. And take in mind, over this week, him and Jiro got together. Because, Jiro remembers what he said. And, yeah, they had dates over the week and stuff like that. So Midoriya didn't smash yet. So he probably can't. So, as a matter of fact, maybe this series won't be, 30 minutes longer. Yeah, maybe this one won't be. Alright, so yeah. So, Midoriya, he's basically, let me change the picture to the baby, alright? Alright then, to this picture. As Midoriya, he's on the bus, and everybody's talking about their quirks, as they go to Midoriya and says, Midoriya, what's your quirk? As Midoriya says, I don't know. What's Jiro's quirk? As she says she can create vibrations with her ear. As he says, my quirk is similar to hers, but more advanced. As he says, okay. Because, they have no clue what it is. Because, there can be many quirks that are more advanced than Jiro's. So, yeah. So, they get to USJ and all the things happen again as the villains attack. Because they don't know who it is. They don't know it's Izuku or anything like that. To which the villain's attacking, and Aizawa's about to jump down, to which Izuku, he grabs Aizawa, throws him on the floor, as Midoriya, he's just stepping down on every step. As he steps down there, as the villain said, this kid wants to fight us. Okay. As they charge, and all of a sudden, they feel like their bones are cracking and blood is coming out, as Midoriya says, damn, that's tough. I wonder, what if I intensify it? If you're wondering what Midoriya is doing, alright, I want you to look at it in my perspective, alright? want you to imagine this in my perspective. Izuku, he is putting so much pressure. Like every second, Midoriya is putting more and more pressure on the vibration of their heart. And as I said in part 2, if you put gravity on the core of something, the core will get smaller, but it will expand. As Midoriya every second does that, as every time it explodes, it's just making a crackling sound. So he does that for every tendon, blood vessel, and stuff like that. He doesn't kill them, he just severely injures them. As Shigaraki sees all of the villains dropping, as he says, Nomu, kill him, to which the Nomu goes in front of Midoriya and stands there. As Midoriya, he puts his hand up, Nomu getting ready to punch, and they hear this. To which Nomu just explodes. Like, Nomu got bodied real quick. As Shigaraki is scared, he says, what? Kirogiri, get us out of here. As Midoriya, he pulls his hand out. As Kurogiri feels like he's getting grabbed by something, which is basically vibrations that have been formed to fingers and hand. As Midoriya grabs Kurogiri, lifts him up, and slams him on the ground, to which Kurogiri is knocked out, and Shigaraki tries to get away, to which Midoriya snaps and points his finger at Shigaraki and says, pew. To which Shigaraki's head explodes and reappears, to which Midoriya says, K. Interesting. I found a new plaything. As he broadcasts a loud, and I mean a really loud, vibration to the League of Villains, where his voice is, and says, all for one. If you want Shigaraki back, come find me. Maybe then you'll be declared the #1 hit villain. But until then, your little successor, or to be exact, your disciple, is my plaything. As he just leaves with Shigaraki, as he's leaving, All Might says, what are you doing with that villain? As Midoriya says, don't disrespect him. He has a higher purpose now. He's my plaything. As Shigaraki's yelling, no, let me go! As Midoriya in his room, he just keeps torturing Shigaraki with that same thing. And then he decides to switch it up after a month, to which he just starts exploding cells, basically. Cells. Every every atomic second, a cell is being exploded inside of his body. Or to be exact, every atom. Every atom is being exploded in his body. And as the atom explodes, the cell gets weaker. As Midoriya decides after another month to start rupturing cells, to which he's destroying cells, which are hurting the organs. No, which are hurting the tissues, to which he decides to destroy the tissues, which are attacking at the organs and hurting the organs, to which he decides to destroy organs, which are hurting organ system, to which he decides to attack the bones, to which every bone gets exploded in his body, and he turns into a blob, to which he snaps and that blob explodes into a pile of blood, to which Izuku reforms him again, and does the same process that he's been doing for the past 3 months, again and again and again and again. As after another month of doing that, All for One decides to attack, to which All for One gets exploded, as Izuku sends him back to the League of Villains base like that, as he sends Shigaraki with him, as to do the same thing with Kurogiri to keep the storyline in check. And 4 months later, the UA Sports Festival is announced. As Midoriya. They know him as Midoriya now, as it's time for the race. As everybody starts leaving, Bakugou thinks, the shitty nerd knows he's gonna lose. As all of a sudden, somebody blitzes Bakugou. And that's where I'm gonna be leaving it off. Yes, I'm leaving cliffhangers off now. So yeah, this has been Psycho, you crazy bro? Don't play with me. As all of a sudden, Bakugou hears Izuku Midoriya is the winner and has taken first place. As Bakugou says, what? Oh, hold on. Alright, just ignore that, because that was just somebody calling a friend. So Izuku, he decides that, maybe I should, well, do it again. To which he decides to go back to the start and does it again. To which President Mike says, what is he doing? As Aizawa says, over the past few months, Class 1A and including I myself have noticed that this student likes to toy with people. More exact, he likes to toy with everyone around him. He finds everything around him as a joke. And to make matters worse, the only person he takes seriously is Kyokujiro. As all the heroes are like, what? How? As now it's time for the cavalry battle. As nobody wants to be with Midoriya. Nobody, because of what they said that Midoriya likes to toy with people. To which Midoriya, he takes a step, and every step he takes, he gets higher and higher. As they're like, what? What's his quirk? As I thought his quirk was super speed. As Midoriya says, that's not my quirk. As they're all frightened. As Midoriya, he's just floating around the air as Midnight says go. To which everybody tries to get Midoriya, but everybody that gets close has a limb exploded until they reach the ground, where their limb is regenerated. As all the heroes are shocked and wondering, what the hell is his quirk? He's too dangerous. How is he even able to become a hero? As that happened, as Midoriya is basically the winner, as many people have fallen except for the people that weren't on to the next round, basically, which is the 1v1 fights. As we skip all the other fights because they're none of them are interesting, because, well, the main character's fights are always interesting because, well, he's the main character. Unless you're like watching an anime that's actually better than My Hero Academia. So yeah, like unless you're watching Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, Naruto or some shit Naruto finished. I'm not saying Boruto because, well, Boruto is kind of ass. It's trash. It's booty. It's doo-doo. It's poop. It's a disgrace to its father. Why do I say that? Because every episode in Naruto, there was a fight. Or some sort of fight. Because there was no... Well, there were filler arcs, but not as much filler arcs as there is in Boruto. If you're watching Boruto, you expect it to be like Naruto. More action than fillers, but, yeah, you get the gist. So, yeah, we get to the 1v1 fights, and it's Todoroki versus Midoriya for... No, not Todoroki. Shinso versus Midoriya. As Shinso says, it must be nice having a great quirk, as Midoriya says, oh yeah, it is. As Shinso says, ha, gotcha. As Midoriya, he puts his hand to his mouth, and all of a sudden, this frightening aura surrounds him, like a crimson, red, and black aura surrounds him. To which he closes his eyes and says, shh, it's not your time to speak. Watch who and what you speak to, because maybe in the end, they could end up killing you. Hitoshi Shinso. As Shinso, he hears his name, as he feels like the devil is looming around him, as he starts yelling and running out of the ring, as Midnight says, Izuku Midoriya won. As Midoriya, he puts his mouth down and says, haha, fool him, as he just skips away. As Jiro in the sidelines says, damn. As Ryuko, who was in the sidelines watching this, says, is that really the person that said I was cute that day? As Midoriya heard this from a long shot, as Midoriya, he jumps onto, well, the stands where Ryuko was, as he grabs the claw part as he pulls it up and he says, oh, so it is you. Well then, I guess I was the one you heard. You still look the same as ever, huh? Well, I guess I should go back now. Bye now. As he just jumps away, as Ryuko had a blush on her face, and all the heroes saw this. They were like, that's a minor. As Midoriya, he comes back out and says, no, I'm not. I'm 18. As the heroes are like, alright, never mind. So, yeah. We skip all those doodoo fights, and then we go to Todoroki versus Midoriya. Endeavor tries to approach Midoriya, but right when Midoriya sees him, he snaps and Endeavor explodes. As Endeavor's wondering what happened, basically Endeavor's soul, to which Endeavor is basically in a standstill. He's standing still in the spot he was, but as a soul. To which Midoriya, he turns around, and his eyes are red, and he says, "Ho, that's a pretty interesting soul you have there. I wonder, what did you do?" As Enji Todoroki all of a sudden feels an ominous aura of death and the devil, to which he hears all three of them, Izuku, Death, and the devil, say, Enji Todoroki, your time has come. Come to hell with us. As Endeavor, he takes as Midoriya brought him back to life, as Endeavor starts yelling, as all the heroes are hearing this and they're wondering, what the hell was that? To which Midoriya just walks out and says, oh, nothing. To which he's fighting Todoroki, and Todoroki sends an ice beam, to which it hits Midoriya, but it does nothing. As a matter of fact, Midoriya is just tanking his attacks and just walking forward for every attack. To which Midoriya, he walks all the way to Todoroki and he says, if you don't use your fire, it won't end well for you. As Todoroki says, I will never use my fire. To which Midoriya says, oh, so sad. Let's just cancel off that ice of yours and see how you beat me. To which Todoroki tries to punch Midoriya, but none of his punches are doing any effect. As Midoriya, he looks at Todoroki again, but this time with his eyes open, showing red eyes, blood red eyes that said, no, no, no. That won't be working on me. Watch what you do. So, it's either the fire, or you won't be going any higher. As Todoroki is frightened all of a sudden, and jumps back and starts using his fire unconsciously, due to it being an innate ability from his father, basically. So, yeah. As Midoriya, he gives him ability to use ice again, and he says, very good. You're using it now. To which Izuku's eyes go black and says, but sadly, you're of no interest to me. As he snaps, and Todoroki just gets hit in the stomach with a vibration and is sent flying into a wall as he creates a crater. As if you're wondering what happened to Todoroki when Shoto used the fire, before he could even speak, Midoriya killed him and revived him again. As now it's time for Bakugou versus Midoriya. As Bakugou, he charges Midoriya saying, "Shitty nerd, how did you get that power?" To which Midoriya, he just smiles, and all of a sudden, opens his eyes to give the blandest red and black eyes that anyone has ever seen. To which he says, "You're of no interest to me either. Well then, have fun." To which he closes his hand into a ball. To which, all of a sudden, just tiny dots, just many tiny dots. Red, white, blue, white, every type of color. Just a rainbow of colors just wrap around Bakugou. As Bakugou says, "What the hell are these?" To which he touches one and he goes bouncing into the next, and into the next, and into the next. To which he's getting bounced around, and he's taking a lot of damage. As Midoriya, he turns his hand and snaps. To which Bakugou gets sent to a wall. As Midoriya wins the match. Now it's time for the award ceremony. Midoriya walks up to All Might, and he's significantly 2 inches taller than All Might, and he says, "It's sad, really. You're of no interest either." To which he grabs the medal and explodes it. And that's where I'm going to be leaving it off, guys. So, yeah, it's 30 minutes, but yeah. And if you're wondering why it's 30 minutes, that's because I'm using a different phone. So, yeah. So, this has been Lotus What Ifs. I'm not gonna lie, making that voice I just did, the scary voice, this voice basically, it was kind of hard. Like, doing this voice hurts my throat. So, I can't really say that I enjoy it. But, I hope you guys enjoyed, and so forth. And, I'll be seeing you guys later. Lotus What Ifs? Alright, shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear you. Yeah, like he said, bye guys. So, yeah.